Welcome to the SPEAKPact podcast, where high-performing speakers and the producers who hire them merge to give you the insider secrets to the lucrative speaking industry. Antoniette Rose, your podcast host and celebrated speaker agent, unveils insider success strategies. Discover a nexus of thought leaders and bookers, maximizing your potential in each and every episode. Your ticket to ultimate speaking success begins right here. Catch the transformative insights waiting for you on the SPEAKPact podcast, hosted by the industry powerhouse herself, Antoniette Rose.
Welcome back to SPEAKPact. Today, I have Corine La Font with me, and we are going to dive into the importance of communicating and how you portray yourself and how not to lose your authenticity. So how do you project those valuable insights and strategies that you have as a speaker and a corporate trainer without losing that human side of your journey, your lived experiences that help define who you are. So we're going to dive into that. I will tell you a little bit about Corine. She was born in Trinidad. She lived and was a professional in Jamaica for 21 years. And she is all of that, right, is part of who you are, Corine. And I absolutely love that now you bring that to professional communicators, professional speakers, corporate leaders, so that they can really understand how to connect with their teams, with their audiences, without false premise. Right. So we're going to dive into that. You are a communications consultant, a public relations expert, a speaker, a podcaster, and a publisher, and a teacher. You've got a lot going on. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much. I think we're always teaching, Antoniette. You know, once you're above ground, you're always teaching, you're always learning. So while I may not be in the classroom with students in front of me, there are students on the screen watching us, listening to us. You know, they're all over. So once you're interacting with another human being, you're teaching.
I think that's a ticket to staying young and vibrant, not only teaching, but also learning.
Of course.
If we never stop teaching and imparting the wisdom that we learn along the way, and we never stop learning, then we never grow OLD, right? We age, and hopefully beautifully, and vibrantly. But I think the OLD word is really a choice.
She's not even pronouncing the word. She's spelling it out.
Not going to come in the room. I love age because it connotes so many beautiful things. But I've seen people grow beyond their actual age rapidly, and it's all that mental. Trying to step into who you really aren't, I think, is one thing that can take away a person's vitality and youth pretty quickly. Yeah. So let's start there. How do you say you're an expert in whatever you're an expert in, and you become in demand to speak on certain stages, perhaps create your own stages and attract gobs of audiences. And as you grow in that popularity and in that kind of persona that a lot of times the public creates for you, how do you continuously embody your humanness without being a bleeding soul, right? In a way that helps you be authentically communicate some real strategies and transformations for other people.
The thing, I think that sums it up in one word: humility. I am an extremely humble person. I don't gloat. I don't talk about myself. I let people do that. When people have to do a bio, just like how you read out my bio, and you know, when they ask me for one, I send probably a 1 or 2 lines, very, you know, compared to some people who send a whole paragraph or a thesis. You know, my thing is about living life on this earth, and when persons come into my space, Antoniette, they must leave better than how they came in. That's how I live. So whatever you were thinking before you met me, whether physically, virtually, or otherwise, whether on the phone, whether you see me, it doesn't matter. Once you come into my space, you must leave better than how you came in. That's just what I believe. I am here
And
to spread light, spread joy, spread peace, to leave people with something that they could think about, because we don't know where people are mentally, physically, otherwise. Because all professionals, we call people professionals, like you mentioned about me, but we are human, and humans are multifaceted. They go through a number of things from morning till night. Even while you're sleeping, your mind is still going. You're thinking, you're planning, you're strategizing, you're waking up in the middle of the night. And so we don't know what's worrying people, what they're fearful of. Not that they have anything to really worry about or be fearful about, but they do. We are human. And so we want to be able to touch people, not necessarily physically all the time, but if that's needed, we do that. And so when I come across on these podcasts or when people meet me, it is really to stay humble. And it's not that I'm purposely doing it, it is in my innate characteristic. I have never been one to show off or talk about myself. When I write my posts, or I don't even call it promotion. I don't have a schedule, no such thing. I would be moved to write something and I would write it and leave it and let it go. I have no care for impressions, analytics, follows, likes. If somebody come on and they say anything, I would engage with them, and I'm just thankful with that. It doesn't mean that other people are not seeing it and don't engage. There are some people who are not as forward or bold enough to really engage with me. Some people have been told they're intimidated by me. And so and so they may not engage because they may be scared, quote unquote scared, to say something that they think or they overthink that it may not be appropriate. Not that it's wrong, but it's just not probably at a particular level to engage with me. I don't know. I'm just thinking out
well, when
loud.
you yeah, when you lead with value, that is very attractive.
Yes.
And it helps people put their guard down.
Yeah.
Like, what is she going to want from me? Well,
Yeah.
if when you lead with generosity and with truth, guards go down. So whether you're talking to a room full of executives or you're speaking to a stadium, right, of a massive audience,
Yes.
what they are looking for is tangible truth,
That's
authenticity,
right.
and generosity.
Yeah.
You really cannot outgive. I believe, and you quoted something a little bit earlier that I remember reading, right, as a child in the Bible, and that's basically, um, don't assume the head of the table seat, right? Just I'm totally killing this whole scripture area, but when you let other people elevate you, you
Yes.
don't take it. You get ushered into that, and that generally comes from service, from
Of course.
serving. You serve, and in that you gain you gain so much. I mean, you gain the fact that you get to see transformation in other people,
Yeah.
but you also gain a position that you are someone to turn to when ABC is needed.
That's
Right,
right.
there's just nobody else. Go to Corinne, because she is the expert in this area, and she is not. She's going to give more than she takes.
That's
So
right.
I think that that's a principle that we can all live by, whether we're a speaker, a corporate trainer, a teacher, a publisher, whatever area that we have really kind of hung our hat on. If you give more than you take, you cannot lose. And that whole law of scarcity versus abundance is a real thing. I have a friend and a colleague who has a top 2% podcast, a very popular podcast, and he had a very popular author on his podcast. And this he was trying to ask him questions about this new book this author had just released. And do you know, the whole way through, this author kept saying, well, it's in my book. You can read it in my book. It's in my book. And no matter how popular this particular author was, the podcaster shut the podcast down. Because if you can't be generous, what's the use? Why am I spending time with you? So
Yeah.
that is definitely something that attracted me to your methodology, to
Yes.
your just who you are, your MO. So let's talk about when you come into a new company, let's say that's struggling in the area of communications, or maybe a growing small
Of
business,
course.
and you start speaking to the owner. What are some ways that they can communicate to get people on board and on a journey with them that's aligned? Just kind of take us down that road a little bit.
Well, each organization would obviously be different. So I'm generalizing here. But the first thing is really to understand who you are as the leader of the organization and who you really want to serve. You mentioned serving, who you really want to serve. And find out where those two could meet. It's like any other relationship. You'll get together with a guy gets together with a girl. You have to figure out where that point meets because it's two totally different people meeting at a particular point at a particular space and time, and you have to find that way to connect. So when you use the love language, and you know Gary Chapman is a leading expert in terms of that. He wrote a book on it. We have to understand what language other people are speaking so that we could speak that language with them. If I meet someone who is a Spanish speaker, totally fluent, don't know English, I have to figure out how to communicate with him in the same way he has to figure out how to communicate with me. Yes, it will take probably forever, but we will get there eventually, probably at one point. He may end up speaking English totally, and I may totally end up speaking Spanish. It might be the reverse. But we have to be able to understand who we are without losing ourselves and who our target audience is without giving too much of ourselves at the same time. You speak about giving and giving so much, but there is also a boundary on which you give. And I want to mention that because people could take advantage of that giving. Because when they see you're such a people pleaser and such a giving person, serving and servitude also has a limit. Everything has a limit. I remember growing up, and I'm sure your mother, your father would have said this to you, or even your siblings. Everything has a limit, everything in moderation. So when you go and eat and you want to have everything on the table, you can't. You shouldn't. First, you will get upset, nauseous, throw up. And it makes no sense. All the things you just enjoyed, you're bringing it back up. You don't want to have that in terms of a relationship and dealing with the target audience that you really want to bring closer to you. And that's the intention. You want to bring closer to you. Now, that wouldn't happen with everybody. And that's the thing. Not everybody's going to like you. You are not going to like everybody else. And that's okay. I think we beat up ourselves on not converting as much. We are comparing ourselves to other people and what their conversions are. We're trying to follow what other people are doing, thinking it will work for us. And there goes out the door. You have forgotten who you are. You see, you're
Yes.
trying to become somebody else and take on a persona that's not you. And expect that what they're doing is going to work for you when it's not you. So,
Right. And I really love what you said about, you didn't say it this way. This is going to come from, but this is how I see it. Not creating bloodsuckers. So essentially, you want to inspire personal responsibility. You don't want to inspire dependence on you
that's right.
or people who are just bloodsuckers, right? They're not really willing to get out there and implement
Yes.
and do those strategies and that wisdom that you've shared with them, actually put it into action. And we see it every day. We see it in our audiences, in our teams. We see
Yeah.
those people in our lives every day, and you do them no good, right? Because you're just creating a dependent
You're enabling.
user.
You're
Yeah,
enabling
you're
them.
enabling.
Yeah.
One thing I love to see speakers do, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, is I love it when I've heard a talk, whether it's a 45-minute talk or a 3-day your workshop, whatever it is. Give me that phantom next day. Give me the marching orders for the phantom next day, right? So you're going to be off. Do you just dispersed your wisdom? You're going to be off to your next thing, and they've got to step into the rest of their lives. Are they going to just forget everything that they just spent their beautiful resource of time and thought energy? Are they going to put something into action? So that's one of the reasons why we end the Speak Pack show, every single show, with some sort of challenge for our Speak Pack audience, so they could go and now implement something that will help what you brought to the table get cemented in. And if it works for them, great, but you're not going to know unless you try.
That's right.
Um, so I really love just the spirit behind your work, the spirit behind what you bring to the table, because I really think that you've got a quiet way of communicating it, but it's very, very superwoman powerful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. When you mention about what's the next thing and helping others, the thing for me would be I would challenge persons to do that thing that you have been saying you want to do. Do that thing. And I want to challenge, especially boundaries, like I mentioned before. You want to tell people no, but you're afraid of losing that person, how they would perceive you, probably even business, whatever it may be. There is a fear behind it. And that no doesn't have to be a hard no, because no could take different shapes and forms.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there are some people you have to say no to, like real hell no. But,
Hard line.
right? Like real hell no, draw the line. But there are people who you may have to say, I am not willing to probably do that, or that doesn't really interest me, or that's not really in alignment with where I'm going with my business. There are different nice ways of saying it, but I may be able to accommodate this, because boundaries don't have to be hard China wall kind of thing. It could be you're still willing to do something, but you're not willing to go beyond this point. Or
Yeah.
I could give you 15 minutes of my time, or I can do this for you on a Sunday evening, not probably when you may want it to be done. And this is the time I have. So you have to work within that window. I want people to be challenged to say no more. Say more of the no's and see how you feel. It's not a matter of the other person. I'm saying this challenge too, how you feel within yourself, and work with the feelings. Don't resist it. Work with what is coming up with you. Work with the voices that is going to be coming at you. Oh my God, Corine, why did you have to say it like that? And this is your friend, your school friend. You were brought up in the same house. You ate from his mother's from his mother's pot. You were like besties and whatever. No, or this person did this for you, and you're obligated to give back, or you feel all the voices. I want you to talk with it, literally talk with it, have a conversation and feel that and work through it and know that you will survive. The key thing is you're not going to die. You are going to survive, and you're going to wake up the next day feeling more empowered that you survived that quote unquote torture that you think was torture or fearful. That friend, if it's really a friend or a business partner, if they respect you, they will say that, whether in words or actions, or come back to you or refer business. If they're not, let it go and know that you are actually. I wrote something the other day. Whatever you do now in trusting yourself, because it comes back to what I said in the beginning: know yourself, know thyself. Whatever you do now, you're setting up for your future self to trust you. So
Mm.
if you don't trust yourself now, you're actually setting yourself up for bad things later on with your future self. You're not strengthening your future self for next year, 2026, 2030, whatever it is. You want your future self, future Antoinette, future Corine, future whoever listener and watcher watching this, to be able to say, oh my God, I feel so good that I did that back then, because now I feel so much stronger, so much better. I have this environment that I'm existing in that I love. It's more peaceful, it's more joyful. I'm attracting the right clients. I'm working with the right people. The right people are coming into my space, because why? Years ago, I said, no, hell no. Or no, or no, with, a little bit of flavor and spice in it.
I love that you're diving into this because I don't think we talk about it enough. No can feel like a 10 weight, right? It's just like it's the hardest thing to say. It's this tiny little word that just feels so big. But what I find, you hit on it a couple of places in here, and it's so important. If you're going to be the more you become recognized as an expert in a field, the more people are going to try to just suck out of you,
That's
right?
right.
And so you got to get really good at those no's so that you leave room
That's right.
for the proper yeses, for those people that you can really, those people, those opportunities, those situations that you can really make the biggest impact in. And but you can't do it if you are buried under the weight of things that you should have never said yes to,
Exactly.
right? Because you were afraid to say that no. So let's dive into this a little bit because you brought up some really important things. This is what I find because I was the notorious people pleaser, right? No, may as well be, I don't know, throwing my cat in the road. Like I wouldn't do it. It was just so hard to do. But I did realize the more professional and recognized I got, the more people were very willing. I mean, I was killing myself. I
That's
was
right.
working. There was never any rest, any mind rest or spirit or physical, right? Rest because you're just trying to please everybody
That's right.
and you get confused. So this is what was the turning point for me. And I'd like to see if it resonates at all with you. So I was spending a lot of money on different high end consultants and systems and all the things. And I was dancing to everybody else's dances,
Come on.
right? Because I bought the program. I wanted to please the people. I wanted to be the best one in the thing, and it just got to the point where not that there wasn't value in some of those things, but the point is I was dancing to everybody else's dances. I didn't know who I was.
That's right.
So at one point I shut it all down.
That's
I
what you
shut
have to
everything
do.
down, got quiet, listed out what are my non-negotiables.
That's right.
What do I have to have in my life that is non-negotiable?
That's right.
What do I not want in my life? It's non-negotiable, right? I don't want druggies in my life. I don't want bloodsuckers in my life. Like just I don't. I
Yeah.
paid my dues. I don't need to have people, certain
Yeah.
things or people or situations in my life. What are my non-negotiables? So I started there and then I reverse engineered. And Corinne, it was life and career changing. Within, I had been struggling to get my business to the next level. Within that month, just things started opening up
It
from
was waiting for
nowhere.
you.
Yeah. And so it was that clarity that gave me the ability to see what didn't fit. And it would made no become very easy. I made a lot of people mad,
That's okay.
but it's like, but it doesn't fit. So no, I'm so thank you, but
That's okay.
no.
Even and if they respect you, they will respect your no. Anybody who cannot respect your no is not meant to be in your space. It's a pretty
Hmm.
simple thing, you know. There's no maths behind it. You'd have to go university to study it. So, if somebody cannot respect your boundaries, they need to go, and that's okay. And that's the other thing: learning to let go and not holding on. And I find a lot of people have attachment issues. They're attached so much that it's like, gosh, it's like you're killing them if somebody walks away from you, and this may sound cold, but it is not. You see, and that is what keeps you tied to the dysfunction and the abuse and the manipulation and the control, is that
Hmm.
attachment that you have to that particular person, thing, and circumstance, that even getting up and uprooting yourself to move to another country, or even another, just within your own country, just do something different. It's like angst within you. You start to tense, and that too is something you have to work with and talk to. Why am I feeling so tense? It's just right there. you know you know I'm not even going to probably live. I'm just taking a vacation, or I'm just going by my friend, or I'm just, yeah, why?
Yeah.
And the thing is, just like anything else in the past, if you just take that leap and you feel, wait a minute, I'm still alive, wait, I'm still here, I survived it, then you could do something else again. So I think the
And
more,
inspire
of
others because you
course,
didn't just say, "Oh, drats, it's just not gonna work for me."
stop being
Right?
comfortable.
Yeah.
That's really the
Yeah.
key. Stop being comfortable. From the time you start to get comfortable, that's when problems come. You
And
have
I
to,
think that a lot of
yeah,
people they feel that way when they're stepping on stage,
yeah,
right? It just feels, and this is what I've seen. Because what you and I are talking about, Corinne, can feel like a massive contradiction. So I want to address it.
yeah,
Right? We're saying position yourself, get in those stages, get that third party validation, become that recognized expert. So that's much different than false modesty, than pride and arrogance. It's very, very different. The motive behind what you're doing is to bring your strategies, your impact,
Yeah.
your thoughts, those sparks of ideas that can change the course of somebody's life or career. And part of that is to have some credentials right behind you to put you in those places so that you can be heard. That is much, much different than that arrogance and false modesty and taking the place at the head of the table when maybe nobody invited you to, right? Or leading. This is something I see speakers do all the time, that they're shooting themselves in the foot when they do this. Number one, they hold back too much. So there is a balance between how much you hold back, how much you give.
Yeah.
Really, for any one given talk or situation, you're looking to give one felt transformation, something somebody can walk away with that has truly enriched their
Yeah.
lives, right? You don't need to pour the whole pot of pasta on their head. They just need that one
Yeah.
thing. But the one thing that I do see is people trying to validate themselves to that decision maker that might put them in front of the right audiences, instead of leading with the audience and what the audience will gain. They lead with, I'm fabulous and I'm great, and this is why, and look who else thinks I'm great, and look at all these great things I've done, and look at my great demo reel, right? Ugh, who cares about that, right? What can you do for my audience, my
Yeah.
corporation, my organization? How are you going to be different than every other leadership thought person, right? Or communications expert? What are you going to bring that's going to make that transformation? So how do we balance that, Corinne, where we need to be elevated in some way so that people can take us seriously and actually they can be impacted by it? But there's a way to go about that. What are some of your thoughts on that?
The thing for me personally, I'm not about credentials. I could list out how many degrees, masters, whatever that I have. I really don't care. Um, really,
And most other people don't either. They're just like, what can you
really,
do to me,
I really
for me?
don't care. People are not, to me, again, they are not concerned about that. Stepping on a stage, they want authenticity. They want you. They want to know, and you have to know again who is in the crowd. Who is in the crowd? Why are you there? Is it mothers? Is it fathers? Is it people? We don't know. And we have to find that touch point. And you would know the energy from the audience is going to come back and tell you. You would know. If you're so tuned in, you would know. If you're about yourself and talking about, oh, it's me and it's all about me, I'm all this, clearly you're not on that energetic wave to know
Mm-hmm.
what the audience is thinking and feeling, because it will be all about you and you telling them who you are. And probably there's a space for people like that, because the audience may be the type of people who are all about themselves too. So they would resonate with somebody like you. But if you're in a space where people are looking to leave with more or some sip or some action to take, then you have to come at them very humble. You have to come at them at a level that they're at. I have heard, when you're talking with children, you don't talk to them at the level that you are. You meet them where they are. So you
Really good.
kneel or you stoop or whatever, but you're on that same level with them. Because by the time you're towering over somebody, even a boss, a supervisor, and you're doing that, you know how you feel. We have all been there. Where the person is standing above you, there's an intimidation about that. So you meet people where they are. So for me, I'm stepping off the stage. Nobody's keeping me on that stage. That's the first thing I'm doing. I'm not staying there. I am off that stage and I'm walking.
Shaking
Of
hands,
course,
speaking
I
to them.
am
Yeah.
in there. I'm actually taking a seat. If I find my eye spot a space, in somebody, next to somebody in the crowd, I'm sitting next to you and talking from there. I am
That's
like
beautiful.
that. I am not on a stage
Mhm.
because I'm not here to present myself, even though I might be paid for it and yes, and all of that. But I am showing you I'm one of you.
Mhm.
I am just like you. But what makes it difference between me and you? You probably are too scared to do what I'm doing. So I'm just a tad braver than you. That's the only difference. I'm just a tad braver than you to stand up on the stage, but you could do exactly what I'm doing. You may even have more experience than me, more lived experience. We're not talking about qualifications and work experience. You may have more lived experience. The only difference between that person or the person sitting in the audience and me is that I am a little bit braver. I have a little bit more cojones to go on that stage. And it's not that I am not scared. I'm scared out of hell. I'm scared. I just have ways of managing the
Managing.
butterflies and the
Yeah.
wanting to run to the bathroom. So it's just me having a bit more, let's say, worked control. I've done it a few more times that I know, okay, this is how I should compose myself. Like a Miss Universe pageant. Don't think all those girls aren't scared. They're scared. But they have been
Well,
trained. They have been
to a
trained.
they stepped out, like you said. So to a fourth grader, a fifth grader is king, right? I love that you said you don't want to tower over
That's
somebody
right.
because then they can't relate to you,
That's right.
right? If to a fourth grader, if somebody who just got a doctorate at a university tries to relate to them, it's a pretty big gap without really
Very.
understanding their language.
Fourth grade and a
So
PhD.
we're talking on the one hand, we're talking about be authentic, be true to yourself. On the other hand, we're saying learn the language and the level of where your
That's right.
audience is. That does not mean don't be authentic. It means understand where they are in a
That's
lot of
right.
the ways that you do it. Shake hands, do your research ahead of presenting to that
That's right.
organization or those people. Know who it is you're speaking with. And let's say you're speaking to a room full of doctors about communication and you're not a doctor, but you just face the elephant in the room. Now listen, you are each accomplished medical physicians, and I want to honor that by letting you know, oh, that's not who I am. I am an accomplished communications expert, and this is why it's important, right? And so you bridge that. Don't leave it for chance that it's going to be understood. You actually face that elephant in the room. And so then you can, now, as doctors would say, ABC, and you can make a little joke out of it, and then put it into your language. So we've seen politicians do this. It either falls flat or goes up, right? So politicians who are in front of a certain kind of crowd and they start, let's say they're in the South, right? And they start trying to talk all Southern and it's obvious that they are not Southerners. It falls flat. It works
Never,
against them.
never. People,
But the one who's like, listen, I'm from the East Coast or I'm from the West Coast, we don't say soda pop. We say, then there's a joke, there's a laugh,
never.
and they understand that you understand their culture. You're understanding where they're coming from, but you're not trying to pretend that you're not being inauthentic. So it might sound like we're saying too, like we're contradicting, but there's a bridge in there
Yeah.
that professional speakers, those professional experts figure out, they see, and they put into
You
practice.
put me in a room speaking with doctors, I'm coming out in my white coat and my stethoscope. I'm just telling you. I'm yeah.
And then you can all have a lot and then pull it off with your beautiful red
No,
dress
we
right
are
underneath.
all on the same level here. You are not, just because you have a doctorate or a doctor, you're a doctor, medical doctor, does not mean to say that you're above me. I am not speaking to a doctor. I'm speaking to a human being.
Human being,
And
yes.
I'm coming
Hmm.
out in my white coat and stethoscope, scrubs and all. Okay? Okay? I am the doctor up here, and you are here to listen to me. You need
I love it.
me. When I need you, I find you in your office. And
Hmm.
then I have to give in to what you say because I recognize you as the expert. But you're in my space, in my wheelhouse. So there is no you're above me and I need to acknowledge you. You understand? I'm coming out in my white coat. I'm the doctor of communication, speaking on communications. So you're here to see me. Okay? That's what it is. And I don't even have to say
No,
that.
no
There
apologies,
are no
right? People
apologies.
don't
And I
want
don't
to.
have to speak about, oh, I'm in a room with doctors. Who cares? I'm in a room with human beings who is here to hear me speak. And I'm telling you honestly, they are not sitting there thinking, oh, we are all doctors. And she's no, they're nothing. They're like, my God, I have problems. I'm trying to communicate with my patients, and they're all giving bad feedback. They are not thinking that they're a doctor at that moment. Only you thinking that.
Yep.
Only you. And why are you thinking that? That is a deep seated issue that you need to deal with. You have insecurities. You have insecurities. I don't, because I see everybody as a human being. I remember when I was working in Jamaica, when I just migrated and I worked in Jamaica, and I was talking with the Minister of Education. And people came to me, Corinne, do you know who you're talking to? I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, the minister. I just couldn't understand why you are putting this man on such a pedestal that you find I should not be talking because I'm so lowly. He's the minister. It's a role, it's a title, it's a job. Why is he so above me that I cannot approach him and say, hey, good morning, or how are you, and have a conversation? I will never forget that. We tend to put people up in places that they are not even putting themselves. So why should we
Well,
do it?
and sometimes they do put themselves there.
But
I'll
if
tell
they
you
do,
this,
that's on
Corinne.
them. That's
Then
on
you're like,
them.
that's
It
just like,
must never be on me to elevate
yes,
somebody else above me. If
exactly.
they want to do
Yeah.
that, they're free to do that. But
Yeah.
I
And
must
you
not
can
do
say
it.
no. And you can say no. We're going back
Of
to that, right? Because
course.
there's big name speakers that'll come to me and they want to tell me what a privilege it would be to represent them, right? What a privilege, yeah, while trying to completely like tie up and twist around
Uh-huh.
my method of operation, my way of doing things that come from 30 years worth of experience. I'm the doctor in that space, right? You don't come in and tell me. So I love your attitude because it's so true. I can easily say no to big names, right? That
You can
just does
say no to
not
anybody, Antoinette.
impress me.
No
Yeah.
is an easy word to say. Practice it, people listening. No is an easy word to say.
And an important
Of
word to say if you
course.
really are going to
Of course.
create that kind of
Do you
impact
know
that you
what
want to
just
make
came
in this
back to
world.
me?
What?
When we have children and we talk about our children, the first one of the things when they reach 2 years old, we say the terrible twos, and they say everything coming out their mouth is no, 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 no. Listen, that is the best phase ever. Everything
They
is no.
somehow realize that power of no.
They know it. No. Go and eat your vegetables. No. Go to your bed now. No. Are you listening to me? No.
And no apologies. Yeah, I think that confidence follows confidence. Like, I don't want to follow somebody who's apologizing for who they are or apologizing
No.
for being ahead of me.
Yeah,
I want to know you're ahead of me. You've towed the road, right? And so that I don't have to walk through the mud that you walked,
that's
right? Tell
right.
me how to get over it without walking in the mud. People are looking for that. They want that authenticity. They
That's
want to be told no, because they don't want to go the wrong direction. They want to be told, even children, they want to be told no
that's
because they
right.
want to be led.
That's right.
And they want to be led right. And they're going to test that, whether it's a client, an audience, a child. They're going to test you to see, are you true? Or do you really know your stuff? Do you really care about me enough to tell me no if I need to be told no? Right. So those are all things that audiences pick up on. You think you're pulling the wool over their eyes, but you're not. They see it all.
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember one of my first clients. It was total wrestle with her. But I just remained calm while she carried on. And I was very respectful as I am with everybody else. And I said, okay, I respect your opinion. She's my best client, loyal client to this day. She refers so many clients to me. I just didn't argue back. I don't have that energy or time. But she told me off. I think I still have the email, one long email telling me off. I'm this, I'm that, I'm what's it not, all sorts of things. And I just said, okay, thank you. And I even asked her, is there anything else you left out?
That took a lot of courage.
No, I said, no, is there any, don't stop. No, keep going, get it all out, you know. And she never responded. I was like, is there anything else? Don't stop now. Yeah.
Well, and people, that's off-putting, right? They want you to get up in
I
arms
don't
and
do
fight
that.
back.
No, I can't be looking this
Mm-mm.
cute, Antoinette, you know.
You actually bring another really good point up. People want to be directed, but they also want someone to blame when things are not going their way. And if you're thin skinned or you don't have that grounding, Corinne, that you have,
Yeah.
that could have devastated you. That could have said, nobody appreciates what I do anyway. They're just seeing the worst in everything. They're making things up. I'm hanging up my hat.
Yeah.
But that's when you're doing it for you, right? That's when what you have put your life's work to
Yeah.
is not for the other people. You say you want to make impact. You say you want to do these great things. But if that is something that can knock you down, you don't really know what your non-negotiables are. You don't have that clarity and you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. And yeah, you're going to get sidelined,
Yeah.
whether you're a speaker, a corporate trainer, a teacher, a thought leader, an author.
Doesn't
You
matter.
have to know that it's about them.
Yeah.
It's not about, at the end of the day, if you're not making that impact, let them throw the punches.
Mhm.
It really doesn't matter because maybe they need to throw the punches.
And,
Just
and
gonna
and I
help
like
them.
how you said that. It's not about you. A lot of people I find take things personally. If you keep taking a lot of things personally, my God, how are you going to survive throughout the day? You overthinking would be your thing because you're circling in your head. No, somebody say something to you, next, move on. I've had so many people threaten me when on my podcast Between the Lines, and just like you know, they didn't get to come on my podcast. You're supposed to have me on this and tell. Oh, listen. They brought out all the cauldron back in the day. I didn't even respond because I don't have the time. People like that,
Right.
and it just confirms to me, yes, I was not supposed to have you on my podcast. It's I don't worry about these things. I even if something could have worked out, let's just pretend for a moment, Antoniette, that that thing or that person could have probably brought you so much. I still don't regret.
Right.
I still
Yeah,
don't.
I'm with
I
you.
made the decision at the time with the information resources that I had at the time and what my intuition told me. And it never guides you wrong.
Such
Never.
wisdom.
So I am going with that. I don't care if you've made multi-millions with somebody. I don't care. Because they will come back. Corrine, it should have been you. No, it wasn't me. And I'm glad for the person who it happened with and that you're doing well. And there was no reason for you to come back to tell me because, that it should have been me or it could have been me. It doesn't matter. I am quite fine with where I am. I'm happy with myself. And this is why, Antoniette, you have to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, people are going to help you know yourself. They're going to tell you
I'm
who
going to
you are.
twist you into who they
Yes,
want you to
they
be.
will
And
tell you
that's
who
really
you
the
are.
crux of effective communication,
Yeah.
right? You've got a mess of a business, you have a mess of a speaking career. If you're letting other people
They're going to pull you.
define,
The puppeteer, they're
Mhm.
going to pull those strings and tell you who and
Mhm.
when to dance, how to dance. You mentioned about dancing to the beat of other people's drum. You are going to be salsa in, merengue in, everything you're going to be doing.
All right. I know at this stage of the SpeakPact podcast, people want to know, how do I find this beautiful Corinne La Font? So tell us, how do you like to be found? And let us know about your podcast as well.
Oh, well, let's start with the last question first. So my podcast, I retired it. It is no,
Oh,
yes, I was doing it for, umpteen years. I think from 2010. I can't do the maths on that now.
wow.
And it just wasn't serving me anymore. So that was one of the things I let go. It was
Okay.
a nice little funeral I held for it, and
Oh, well, that the goodness of that is still out
of
there. So
course
can
it
people
is. Of
still,
course it is. And a number
mhm.
of people who have been my guests, I'm so thankful. We are friends to this day. We still stay in touch. So it did what it had to do and I had to let it go. And I'm at peace with that. In terms of being able to reach me, LinkedIn is the best way to reach me. Just look for this cute face. You see the name down there is Corine La Font. There is only one of me. There may be a lot of names Corine La Font in France and wherever because it's a French name. But you just see this cute face, people. Connect with me.
And you will know. So it's C-O, for just the ones who are just listening in, it's Corine and then LAFONT.
That's right.
And if for some reason you can't find her, because funnily enough, there are quite a few. When I went to look you up earlier today, I was like, that to me, that seems like a unique name, but apparently there's quite a few.
Yes,
Then just go to my show notes because I'll make sure that there's a direct link.
that's right. And if not, I know this one might be a little bit long, beyondthelineslearning.com. Just go there and you'll find me.
Okay, beyond
The
the
lines
lines
learning.
learning.com. Good. It's long, but it's simple. So fabulous.
Keep it
All right,
simple.
Corinne, you know the signature last question of the SpeakPact show, and it has everything to do with us, all of us, right? Being on a universal pact to make the greatest impact that we can in this world. And in the SpeakPact space, that's utilizing the power of your voice. You, in your space too, right? Communicating authentically and purely and truthfully in ways that can make a difference, not a false difference, but a true difference. So what can we do today? Just one thing we can start implementing even today that will make us better communicators?
That's a good question, Antoinette. What would make you a better communicator? A couple of things. Look back at your videos that you would have done. Look back at the videos that you would have done. Look back at the interviews if you've been on podcasts. Look back at them and be critical. And not, when I say critical, I don't mean negative. Just look at yourself and say, I could improve here, or I could have this, or I could have that. But even if you do that in the moment when you're actually live, these things will not come to you. I'm telling you. The coulda, shoulda, woulda. What is meant to come out your mouth?
Don't should all over yourself.
What is meant to come out of you will come out of you. And no amount of trying to be differently would have saved the day or landed differently for your audience. What is meant to come out will come out. My thing in terms of communication, if I have to tell anybody anything besides watching and learning from yourself and improving, is to listen more. That is the key to communication. Shut up and listen more, because we tend to assume what the other person is about to say and end up putting our foot in our mouth or saying the wrong things. Listen more. Give that person the quality time. I mentioned love languages before. Give that person the quality time and respect in listening to them. They might even be worried, and say, are you listening to me? Because they're so not used to somebody actually giving them the space and the time to speak. And you would say, yes, I'm listening to you. That might scare them, because they're not used to it. And I think that will start changing even your relationships at work, at home, with your friends, neighbors, whatever. Just listen more. Just sit, don't talk, and listen. And when you think, or if you're not sure, you ask the other person, are you finished? Then you can. And don't assume they want advice either. If they want advice, let them ask. We tend to assume and volunteer advice when nobody asks. Sometimes somebody just wants you to sit there and listen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is so important. And it's so foundational to
Yeah,
everything. And we forget to remember
yeah,
this, right? We're not listening to rebut. We're not listening to respond.
yeah.
If we're truly going to be that wise communicator, we're listening to understand, to really hear the heart of what that person is saying. And when you do that, you don't feel like, oh, I need to show them my genius by telling them exactly what they need to do next. Right? You're exactly right, Corinne. People are living in a world where there's a lot of noise going on, but very few people really feel heard or understood. So if you could just give them that little bit, right? Listen to understand, not to react or to respond. I love that advice.
Yeah, there seemed to have been a little bit of glitch a while ago. So, yeah, just a little bit of a glitch with the internet, the Wi-Fi. So,
Can you hear me?
I am
Are
hearing
we
you.
here?
I am
Okay,
hearing
good,
you.
good. Yeah, we didn't lose you. It got a little fuzzy there for a second, but I love that parting advice. So, what we are going to ask this beautiful Speak Pact audience is challenge yourself today to go out, find a friend, a family member, maybe somebody you're at odds with, a coworker, and just say, listen, I want to hear what you have to say. Sit there, don't say a word, and honestly hear them, hear what they're telling you, hear their heart, and do not be compelled to give them advice. React, don't react, maybe not even respond. I love how you said that, Corinne. You're like, even in that crazy letter you got from the person, right? Is that all? Is there more? Because
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more.
Yeah.
Right? Love it.
Yeah. Make it about them and not about you.
Yeah. And you can't get nervous when you're getting on a stage. If it's about you, you're nervous. If it's about them, when was the last time you were nervous when you were there for a friend
Yeah.
who was going through something hard and you were there really to comfort them? That's really what your audience is. They're there for something they need. They're in pain in some area or they wouldn't be spending their time there. Right? There's something they need, they're looking for. If you can focus on that, there's no nerves.
Yeah.
There's no nerves in
I
that.
want to add in one little part before we go. I hope the internet holds up great for this part. But when people are sharing their stories, issues, challenges, whatever they may be going through, one of the things I noticed, and it is quite annoying, and I wrote a post on it as well, I'll probably share it with you, Antoinette, is that we tend to come in with our own version. So somebody says, for example, gosh, I broke my leg and it have two broken parts or whatever, and the other person come, girl, what you say? I had like six broken parts. I was
I
late.
got that topped.
I
Oh my goodness,
I
that
was
drives me
laid up for
insane.
6 months. What are you talking? So it's like you are trying to outdo. It's like a competition. The person is telling you, "I'm going through a divorce. I, my father died. My mother," and you're like, "Yeah, my mother died too," And I'm like, God,
No, they are this is a really good point because it goes back to what you were saying about understanding your audience. You do not want to outpace someone. You want to offer them from your
oh my
experience
God.
the way that you got through it, right? And so you can let them know, listen, I see that your company is has some cracks in the walls of communication. And I've seen this before. You don't have to say it was you, right? I've seen this before. And these are the strategies that I've seen work, right? That's what they're there for. They're not for your long drawn out story of how you were worse off than them. They're there for let's cut a check for speed, right? Let's get to the chase. What do I need to do to get out of this pain? People do not like discomfort. They do not like pain. They want the exit door, right? They want to know how they can get out of the situation they're in and enter into that next level that they are. So when you do that, when you're having a conversation and somebody tells you their woes, some hard things that they're going through, that's what they're feeling right then and
They
there.
need you to
That meet
listen.
them where they are, right? You don't need to top that
You don't need
story.
to trump them. You don't need to compete. Then the whole thing turns around about you. At the end of the conversation, Antoinette, you're like, what just happened there? Didn't I call
And
Anton?
you're drained. You're drained.
What just happened there? So you leave empty. You leave like you didn't leave like balance and free. You still leave with what you came with.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
remember the beginning I was saying anybody who comes into my space must leave better than how they came in. I see it so much on LinkedIn. Somebody would put something there or anything at all. And you would see people in the comments start talking about themselves as opposed to saying they recognize, I see you, as opposed to
Mhm.
talking about themselves. I'm like, wait a minute, the post wasn't about that.
Mhm. Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today and just your spirit
Thank you.
of who you are. You are a beautiful model of being
Thank you.
authentic. You are
Thank you.
authentically you,
Thank you.
no false pretenses, and very, very effective at it. People, you just get sought after because of that.
Thank you.
You don't have to force your way into being in demand. You be you, and the right people will
We'll come to you.
seek you out. They will seek you out.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us today, Corine.
Thank you so much, Antonia. It has been a pleasure.
And for our SpeakPact audience, ciao, ciao for now.
Thank you for listening to the SpeakPact podcast. To become a recommended speaker of Antoniette's WPC speaker agency, or you are a host or planner looking for a dynamic expert in optimized performance, Antoniette would like to personally meet with you. Secure a time with her at speakerbooker.com. Again, that is speakerbooker.com. It all begins with a vision, a voice, and a pact to impact. Join the SpeakPact movement by joining our new private Facebook group at the link in our show notes. Find us on nearly every social media platform at One Antoniette. That's number 1, ANTONIETTE, or simply hashtag SpeakPact.